The reason I wasn't accomplishing stuff in my life wasn't because of what I've been through, because I was holding on to it. I thought somehow, some way, that defined me. Being abused, being neglected, being held down, being put in positions that I had no chance to get out of by myself. Have you ever felt burned by resentment and anger? It is time to let go and set yourself free. Forgiveness is not about the actions that caused you pain. It's about releasing yourself from the negativity. When you hold on to grudges, it only brings you down. It drains you from your energy and prevents you from finding your inner peace. I remember walking around with all that anger and resentment towards my parents through everything I've been through in my life. I thought that if I held on to this anger, if I held on to it, somehow I was making them pay. Somehow I was getting back at them for sending me to a third world country at 4 years old without them. I thought if I walked around with this bitterness, this anger, somehow, some way, things would change for me. But I've come to realize that all the abuse, all the neglect, all the trauma that I've been through in my life, I can't set back on it. I can't sit here and just walk around with anger and resentment because it only drains me. It was only bringing me down in my life. The reason I wasn't accomplishing stuff in my life wasn't because of what I've been through, because I was holding on to it. I thought somehow, some way, that defined me. Being abused, being neglected, being held down, being put in positions that I had no chance to get out of by myself, by my own parents, define me. But I've come to realize in my life, I define the situations. I defined what my life will be because I have hope and I have the willpower to get out of that. And once I started to see changes in my life, well, when I forgave them both, when I said to myself, Daniel, you can't keep holding on to this. You can't keep walking around angry, furious, not understanding where they came from, not understanding what made them put me through it. Remember what God says all the time. You should forgive your fellow man because I forgive you. And once I started to find God in my life and put him first, I understand I am nobody to pass judgment on anybody. I can't sit there and judge my parents for what they did for me, what they did to me, but I can also put myself in their shoes. Because they must have gone through some dark, dark trauma in their life, not to realize the hurt and neglect they put me through. They had to go through something very dark. Like I know my mother's story. My mother was abused as a kid for a very long time. So she did not know what she was doing to me was abuse because she wasn't hitting me in the sense of it, because she was being hit. So she thought by sending me somewhere else, I'll be in a better place than being with her. I still think that to this day. But what happened was it put me through more trauma. I was only 4 years old when I first experienced my first trauma. I didn't know what the world was. I thought the world was nothing but dark, nothing but evil. Because I was sent somewhere where I did not know the language, but I was getting abused. Everybody knows that language of getting abused, getting hit, getting neglected. Not seeing so much food, going to sleep hungry sometimes, being blamed for other things that other people did. But I had nowhere to escape to. I had nowhere to run to. I had nobody to cry to at night. I only had myself to get out of that hole. So when I came back, I faced more abuse. I faced abuse through my father, through my mother, from neglect, from her boyfriend. My whole life was based off abuse. And I was holding on to that till 30 years old until I got electrocuted and God woke me up. God kept telling me, Daniel, wake up. You are meant more than this. This anger, this resentment you're walking around with, you're letting the devil come out of your heart. You're letting the devil become part of you where you can be so much more. Facing that electrocution, should be dead right now. The only reason I'm here is because of the grace of God. Because I'm meant to do something more. And it took a while for that to take. It took a while to ask God, why? Why am I still here? Why have you put me through so much pain in my life and I've gotten nothing out of it so far? I've gotten nothing but resentment. I've gotten nothing but anger out of it. So remember, whatever you're going through, whatever you've been through, you must forgive the person that hurt you or the people that hurt you. You must forgive so you can move on with your life. You must forgive to understand that if you keep living in the past, that's where you'll stay. That's where you'll end up at. You'll end up back in that dark hole for the rest of your life, not knowing how to get out of it, not knowing what you could really become. Because instead of using your darkness for good, we stay in it. We rot in it. We become disgusting in it. And then we start doing the same thing that was done to us to others. We start hurting others. We start hurting our children. We start hurting our loved ones. We start hurting our friends because that's all we ever known. So remember, if you want to get better, if you want to excel in life, forgive. Move on. Understand that forgiveness is not for the other person. And no, I'm not sitting here telling you to be best friends with the person that hurt you, the person that put you through all this trauma, that put you through all this hurt. Forgiveness is for yourself. You don't even have to tell the person in face to face that you forgive them. You can tell God and you can tell yourself in the mirror, I forgive. I let it all go. Because God forgives me for my sins. Because God forgives me for what I have done. And if He's that powerful and if He's that strong to forgive us, then we should do that same thing to our fellow man, fellow woman, fellow person on this earth. Because we're all going to make mistakes. Let's not repeat the cycle. Let's not live in the same cycle we were brought up in. Some of us don't even realize it, that we're becoming the very thing we hated the most. We're becoming the very thing that we despised because that's all we ever known. So we think that's the right way to go about life. We believe if we don't forgive, if we hold on to grudges, somehow that makes us powerful. Somehow that makes us better than humans. Somehow that makes us higher than above, holier than thou. I won't forgive that person. I won't move on from that person. I can't let it go. Why not? Because all I see is anger coming out of you. All I see is resentment coming out of you. And I spoke to a couple people in the last few days. My brother is put in an instance. He's walking around with so much resentment, so much anger, and you hear it in his voice. But one thing I want to tell you, and I hope you're watching this, let it go. Your heart will fill with happiness the day you let that go. The day you tell God, I forgive them as you forgive me, and only thing I can do is walk in your path. And hopefully the people that hurt me can see the path I'm walking on and start to follow and start to understand what they've done to me, what they have put me through, and admit it. Because the hardest thing to do is to actually admit the faults you have done. To actually admit as a human being all the trauma you put your loved one through. One day, it may be on that person's deathbed. It may be tomorrow. It may be next month. It may be next year. It could be the day he dies. But he will say, I am sorry. I'm sorry for the pain. I'm sorry for the trauma. So if you're listening to this, all of you, forgive. Forgive for yourself. Forgive for your heart to be open. Forgive to see the light of God. Forgive so that you can have a better life. You can be so much better into this world. You can give your happiness. You can give your gratitude to life. And others around you, you can change them. Just by that simple thing. Forgive and let go. And let God handle it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody that subscribed to my channel. Thank you for everybody that shows support. If you're watching this for the first time, please take the time to subscribe to my channel, my Instagram, and my TikTok. I upload videos there every single day to help you get better and help myself get better every day. Because on this channel, we grow every day and we help others grow. Remember, work hard today for a better tomorrow, and I'll see you on my next video.